Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. And here we are now with pack 53 of the Hachette Lancaster bomber B.III, the Dambuster. And this video is going to be a little bit different than normal, because in packs 53 and 54 we've got engine parts again. So there's 53 and 54 there. And we've already done engines twice, and you don't need to see it all again. So what I'm going to do is just go through the magazines, and then I'll put the engine together. And then in the next video, or whenever it is, we have to add parts to it. You'll see it built up. But basically, it's the you'll see in here with the parts. So pack 53, we're going to have the main engine block, the sump, a couple of cylinder heads, or that's one cylinder head in two halves, and a cam cover, and what's 53F? A dynamo. So we're going to assemble all that in here. Okay, so nice to see they simplified things by attaching the headers, the exhausts and the ignition cables and everything. So they've simplified that, and they've also got that pesky little piece there that keeps getting broken off, which is for the coolant. So Lancaster's in action, foreign editions. There's a little beauty there with a Canadian flag on the side. So raid on the Samur Tunnel. As Allied soldiers fought to enlarge the D-Day bridge head in Normandy, Lancasters of number 617 Squadron tried out a new weapon. And they were using tall boys. Look at those bloody craters there. Absolutely awesome. Amazing, amazing bombs. Plotting the journey to France inside a Lancaster crew compartment, the navigator marks the route to the target. There you go. And then the Mitsubishi G4M B.III. You can get this in 48 scale. I don't believe anyone does it in 32nd scale yet. But it's a lovely looking aircraft, as all the Japanese aircraft are in my opinion. And they're always great for modelers because you can see on there the paint's all just flaking off. They're great for weathering because they really did take a beating. Look how close that one is to the sea. And there, look. Blimey. So there you are. That's all about a Japanese bomber for you, the B.III. And then moving on to pack 54, as you can see here, we've now got more parts of the engine. So all we've got is one cylinder head, an intake manifold and a cam cover. So there we are, building all that together and building it onto the engine block there. I would recommend when you do this, use some slow setting super glue, glue it all together and then get it down on the block. Don't glue that to that and let it all dry, because if the angle's wrong, it won't all fit together. Lancaster NX622. The fully restored Mark 7 Lancaster now sits proudly in the Aviation Heritage Museum of Western Australia. Another Mark 7, you can see it's got the great big engine intakes on it. Standing out in the open for 22 years, corrosion and other damage was surprisingly light. This was due to the aircraft's tropicalisation back in 1945. This included the application of a special preservative paint and the varnishing of all electrical systems. Okay, and there she is, sat in the museum forever. Sat there forevermore. There we go. We're coming over the page here. Air war over Malta. Oh dear, that was terrible, wasn't it? You can see there's some Spitfires there with their tropical intakes on them. Malta under air attack. The island was subjected to an intensive bombing campaign during World War II between 20th of March and 28th of April 1942 alone. Malta was subjected to 11,819 bombing sorties. Dear, dear, dear. Amazing how it survived, isn't it? There we go. And then in the next pack, yes, we've got more engine parts. So yeah, we'll see what we do with that one. Okay, so I'll see you all back for issue 55. As I say, when we come to issue 55, we'll be fitting these parts to the engine or not, however the case may be. And then we'll get on with the build then. I'll see you all back for pack 55. Thank you for watching. Okay, I'm just inserted this bit in the end of the video. I've gone on assembled the engine. Just a couple of things of note. When it comes to actually, I wish I'd videoed it now because there's a couple of good points. When it comes to here where you're assembling the halves, have a look on the inside of the parts. Mine had a lot of excess super glue from where they glued all these parts together. I had to scrape it all off to get them to fit together properly. And also, these pesky little things here, which are a complete and utter pain, they've also been glued on. But on mine, there's a pin that goes into a hole in the cylinder head but the pin wasn't inserted into the hole. It was just glued on by the end because the hole was too small. So they just, as soon as you looked at them, they just fell off. So I've had to drill the holes out and re-glue them. So have a look at that on yours. I'm talking about these parts here. Here we go with this problem with bloody black again. It really does my head, and I don't know how to get around it. But you can see these two parts here sticking out. I'm pointing at now. That one there just needs to be re-angled a touch. But they go onto the header tank, the water tank. But they weren't properly glued in. So yeah, whoever did my engine didn't do a very good job because they got super glue everywhere on the inside and they weren't even glued in properly. So there we are. But that's the engine actually assembled. That's steps 53 and 54. As we all know, I know you're all going to comment, the engine is way too small. It's not much over 48 scale, to be honest, that engine. And if they carry on with the build the same as it was before, then you're not going to be able to see it anyway. You can see on here, on these exhausts, you can see all that excess glue on there, all around the top of the exhaust. So it's good that they're doing it for us because it is a pain to assemble. But if you look at that one there, they're not even straight. But as I say, it doesn't matter because you can't see them. There's flame dampeners on there. So there we are. So there we go. So that's pack 53, 54 done. I'll see you all back for 55.